computer window. In the context of computers, a window refers to a graphical user interface element that appears on the screen and displays the content of an application or program. It is a rectangular area that acts as a frame or container for the application's user interface, allowing users to interact with the program and view its output. Windows are an essential part of modern operating systems, such as Microsoft Windows, macOS, and Linux, which use a windowing system to enable multitasking and provide a visual representation of running programs. Each window typically has a title bar at the top, which displays the window's title and contains buttons for minimizing, maximizing, and closing the window. Within the window, various components and controls can be displayed, including menus, buttons, text fields, checkboxes, and images, depending on the application's design and purpose. Users can resize windows, move them around the screen, and interact with their contents by clicking buttons, typing in text fields, selecting options from menus, and performing other actions relevant to the program. By using multiple windows, users can work with several applications simultaneously, switch between them, and organize their desktop effectively. Windows facilitate a graphical and intuitive way to interact with computer programs and provide a visual representation of the application's interface and data. Disk operating system. Disk operating system refers to a family of operating systems primarily used on IBM-compatible personal computers and compatible systems. DOS was prevalent during the 1980s and early 1990s and played a significant role in the development of early PC computing. Originally developed by Microsoft, the most well-known and widely used version of DOS is MS-DOS. MS-DOS provided a command line interface where users interacted with the computer by typing commands. It supported various disk-based storage devices, such as floppy disks and hard drives. DOS operated on a single tasking model, meaning it could only execute one program at a time. Users would typically load and execute programs from the command line, and each program had exclusive control over system resources until it was closed or terminated. One of the most notable features of DOS was its file system, which used a hierarchical directory structure with directories and files. Users navigated through the file system using commands like cd, enter. DOS supported various file types, including executable files with a .ez extension and text-based batch files with a .bat extension. MS-DOS was widely used as the primary operating system on IBM-compatible PCs before the emergence of Windows. Even after the introduction of Windows, DOS continued to be used as a command line environment within Windows, providing compatibility for older applications and allowing direct system control. Although DOS is no longer a mainstream operating system, its influence on the evolution of personal computing is significant. It laid the foundation for subsequent operating systems, and many concepts and command line utilities originally developed for DOS are still present in modern operating systems. BIOS. BIOS stands for Basic Input-Output System. It is a firmware program that is built into the computer's motherboard and is responsible for initializing and controlling the hardware during the boot-up process. The BIOS provides the computer with essential low-level functions to interact with various hardware components, such as the processor, memory, hard drives, graphics card, and input-output devices. It acts as an interface between the hardware and the operating system, enabling the system to communicate with and manage the hardware resources effectively. When the computer is powered on, the BIOS is the first software to execute. It performs a power-on self-test to check the hardware's integrity, including memory tests, detecting connected devices, and verifying their functionality. If any critical issues are detected during the post, the BIOS may display error messages or emit beep codes to indicate the problem. After the post, the BIOS searches for a bootable device, typically the hard drive, and loads the first sector of the boot device, known as the master boot record or the Git partition table header. This boot sector contains instructions on how to start the operating system. The BIOS transfers control to this boot sector, and the operating system's bootloader takes over to continue the boot process. In addition to the boot process, the BIOS also provides a user interface known as a BIOS Setup Utility or BIOS Configuration Utility. This interface allows users to configure various system settings, such as the boot order, date and time, hardware parameters, and security features. The BIOS settings can be accessed by pressing a specific key during the early stages of the boot process. While BIOS has been widely used in traditional PCs, newer systems, especially those using the Unified Extensible Firmware Interface, have transitioned to a more advanced firmware. However, the term BIOS is still used generically to refer to the firmware in many cases, even for systems using FI. Thanks for watching the video and subscribe the channel and hit the bell icon for watching our next video.